Hi, my name is Annie Caspar, and in addition to many other uh, titles that I could give myself over my lifetime, I am unfortunately at this juncture a severely targeted individual. The purpose of this video today is just to give you a brief introduction into why it is that I am targeted as aggressively as I am since 1997, but potentially as early as 1988. I am the daughter of a single mother who immigrated from Germany after Hitler and who was quite a pioneering woman of her time, very committed to egalitarian values, compassion, love, and all the wonderful things that we as a species consider our highest evolved attributes. My father's legacy reaches back to Poland, and one of the first nuclear physicists, also responsible for integral contribution to the development and establishment of what we know today to be CERN. All my life I have ranked very high in academic achievement as well as overall social achievement and professional achievement. However, I am what I suppose one could call, and terminology is very difficult here because we're actually, we're terracing a completely new domain of being, I think, a divergent or a what also has been called gifted individuals. And because of that reason, wherever I interacted with our system, our current matrix, I immediately was able to determine what was truth, not truth, what was, absurd things like knowing, in high school that electrons did not jump from one path to another in a very orderly fashion, just intuitively. So I'm very intuitively based, and I guess you would call that synthetic intellectual access as opposed to analytic, although of course I do have very strong analytic abilities. But those characteristics placed me in a position of being, unfortunately, quite an ideal whistleblower. And very early on in my career on Wall Street, I saw that there was a level of criminality and stupidity that was shocking. I, however, did not begin to whistleblow on Wall Street. I entered Wall Street in 1985. I did not begin to whistleblow until 1989 when the gross discrimination, gender discrimination, and sexual harassment became so overwhelming that I had to write private memorandum to very senior officials at firms that I was working with, never attempting, of course, to expose the vagaries of a system that has nearly bankrupted the world now, and certainly nearly bankrupted the United States 8 times in its history. I believe, based on these early actions, I became surveilled very, very early on. 1989 again is when I can say I believe this surveillance began, because that is the first time I filed a formal memorandum, again a private corporate memorandum that was not distributed publicly to anyone and went actually to only 2 individuals, the CEO of the firm and the head of human resources. By 1993, after being with one of the world's top investment management firms, I began to experience what I now understand to be electromagnetic weapons testing utilization through a wide variety of symptoms that I won't detail here today. However, by 1997, I was disabled and didn't quite understand what had happened to me. I thought I had just worked myself into disability, but I now have been told by independent analysts and experts that my profile since 1989 looks like a targeted individual, or what's called a blacklisted whistleblower in other terminology. By 1997, because of the grotesque sexual harassment and gender discrimination that I and others of my caliber experienced at this major Wall Street firm, I commenced with 7 other women a landmark gender discrimination class action that is now taught in business schools and law school. Upon the commencement of that, I began to do very aggressive public relations because I saw very clearly early on that the justice system, as well as our own attorneys, had been very early compromised by the defendant. From the moment I began the public relations and contacts with the press, my, now I understand to be, targeting increased exponentially. I began to get death threats. People around me became suddenly very highly agitative and negative and or aggressive toward me, and that's been a trend that has been in place since 1997, and we are in 2017. I was lucky enough to settle out of this class action and to be able to begin a new life. However, the targeting followed me everywhere I went and was manifest in many ways beyond the directed energy weapons. It was manifest with electronic hacking, with what is now called gang stalking, or is actually a, it's a criminal concerted racketeering event to socially and economically completely disable you, which has happened in my case. The most recent developments, to keep this short today, are that after 8 years of having more than $200,000 stolen from me by the Internal Revenue Service and the Social Security Administration, I have in my hands documentation of this fraud, and there's been a major acceleration in the electromagnetic targeting of my brain and my person since coming to Florida, and definitively since November 8th. At this juncture, my life has been completely destroyed. My health has been completely destroyed, and that's after actually investing over $200,000 in my health from 1996 on in an attempt to recover it, although I had no idea that because of the continual directed energy weapon usage on my person, which of course is criminal and grossly illegal, that there could be no recovery of health. Between the investment in my health, the cancer that was caused in my body, I am more than certain now, by this directed energy weapon usage, I was rendered destitute, and then again when I filed legally correctly for the benefits for which my $1 million plus in taxes paid, the Social Security Administration with the Internal Revenue Service and other governmental and non-governmental organizations colluded to commit larceny and to further defraud me and my life and destroy it. It's called an assassination protocol. And I suppose because I am perceived by the military-industrial complex, which has essentially destroyed the world in the past 20 years, while it's been destroying me, as a major threat to their paradigm of death, suffering, pain, larceny, and other acts of gross criminality, crimes against humanity and crimes against all life. And I believe that that's the primary reason that I have been targeted, because beyond the whistleblowing that I did on Wall Street, and not just once, I did it again in 2004 or 2005 and helped women again formulate a class action. I have been very severely targeted. I have been blessed in the past year to meet a number of targeted individuals who have helped me dramatically survive what is without question a takedown protocol or an assassination protocol, and I want to thank them here today very, very much, although I won't name them because I'm going to try to be as discreet as I can for them as well. I urge you to regularly monitor my YouTube page as well as my Facebook page to understand a program, a criminal worldwide program that is destroying some of the best and brightest in the world, and definitively will be targeted on any individual who in any way, shape, or form questions the system or what is this new world paradigm. And if you wish to live in slavery, wish to see your children and your grandchildren live in slavery, and wish to watch the planet die, then do nothing. If you wish to be freed of this, as I am trying myself and have been trying with very little help in the past 2-3 years since I first learned that this really was happening and couldn't believe it, then please act today. Write your local, state, and federal representatives once you've reviewed my regularly posted videos on YouTube and Facebook, and and demand an investigation into what is criminal and illegal domestic terrorism of innocent individuals worldwide. My concern is that we will lose our very, very best to this horrific totalitarian pulse that seems to have taken over our world, and that we have lost many of our best. So I ask for your support today and for you to continue to watch this channel, share my videos, and also share the videos of people that I will highlight throughout this series. Thank you so much for your time. Blessings, and may we all be free.